It takes a certain amount of self-hate to really want to do this work. You need to be tired of your self-hate and your shame and your guilt and you're not good enough. If it doesn't come to a critical mass where you can't take it anymore, you're not going to really truly find the motivation you need to really fully do this work to come out the other side. I'm out of my self-hate for a lot of the day. I'm out of my shame for a lot of my life. But man, when it shows back up, and it always does, I recognize it's so much easier and so much faster. It's not until we clear out enough space where we start to feel better about ourselves can we easily identify the shame and the self-hate. I never realized how hard I was on myself. I mentally and emotionally beat the shit out of myself most of my life, and it was a protection thing. Like if I came down on myself, if I shamed myself when I made a mistake and I did it before anybody else did, they wouldn't do it to me. So if I do it to myself, it protects me from others doing it to me. I make a mistake, I go, I'm stupid, what's wrong with me? I can't do anything right. People usually don't pile on when you cop that kind of attitude. When you make mistakes and you pretend like you didn't, people get on you a lot quicker. So you got to get into your self-hate. It's got to be the motivating factor to not want to feel self-hate and shame anymore. You got to get in there. It is so difficult to identify it when it's been living in you for so long. And remember, shame is not, I made a mistake. Shame is, I am a mistake. And it's hard to change that narrative of thinking that you're a mistake, not that you've made a mistake. You're just completely wrong. You're completely broken. You're completely defective. That's shame, man. And there's nothing freer than losing your shame. When you can start walking tall in your own shoes and you can start feel good about yourself and accept the things that you hate. And that's a big part of this work. Like it's not like I don't hate the things that I've done and the choices that I've made in my life. I've just accepted the fact that they were the best at the time. They were real shitty. I wouldn't make them today, but I have to accept the fact that they're there and I have to kind of grieve it out. Like grieving has so much to do with regret. You got to grieve out the regrets in your life of not standing up for yourself and not being a better person for you. The grief that you need to feel, you need to sob. It needs to feel like a death. You got to cry, you got to sob, you got to get angry, you got to get in touch with all the emotions that make you up. You can't just sit in the nice person people-pleasing role because you're denying yourself half of your feelings. And when your feelings are cut off and you can't access them, you're not good to yourself. You need your anger. Your anger is your power. It is your protection. Without it, you are a doormat and a people pleaser, and you will allow people to walk over you. And if you weren't allowed to get in touch with your anger, anytime you feel it, you're going to feel shame. Anytime you express it, you're going to start to feel self-hate because it wasn't allowed. You were told you were wrong and you were bad for having anger. And that was a wrong message. You need to get in touch with your anger. You're never going to move forward if you don't get in touch with it. It is a natural part of the process, but we have to go into the hurt and the pain and the sadness and the humiliation before we can get to the anger. And once you get into the anger, man, is it liberating? Is it free not to absorb all of that energy that you weren't allowed to express, to actually let it out and getting it out of your body instead of storing it up in all of your cells, and it just weighs you down. See how much emotion, how much energy and emotion that you have repressed, that you are carrying around all day, every day? You are depressed because you are repressed. I can tell you this, when you start expressing those feelings and those emotions that you weren't allowed to have, you stop repressing yourself, the depression lifts. You're just going to have to navigate the guilt and the shame about having the anger. And you start negotiating with yourself. You have to talk yourself into letting yourself know that it's okay to have it. Because you're not being human if you don't allow yourself to have anger. And anger gets a negative rap. And so there's healthy anger and there's unhealthy anger. Rage, that would be unhealthy anger. Expressing healthy anger is taking your feelings, organizing them, and handing them back to somebody in a rational way so that they can hear you. If you're not comfortable with your anger, it's just going to come out as an explosion. And I am the king of explosion. I learned how to spackle real good because I put my fist through just about every wall of every place that I've ever lived because I couldn't manage my own anger. And that was the way I expressed it. I would just punch walls and then I would learn how to sheetrock. So I picked up a trade out of my anger. So there are positives.